Welcome to the Winning Balance podcast. I am joined with one of my good friends. Such a freaking stud. I've been trying to get you on here for a while now. For a while. Since I had this idea, Jordan has one of the most unique stories, one of the most badass stories, like quite literally, that you will ever hear. And you as a person, as I've gotten to know you, you're someone that I genuinely look up to in a lot of ways. And so
I appreciate that. I would say the same thing about you as I've gotten to know you as well. And
I appreciate it.
I always look forward to getting to see you and hang out with you, talk trash about football.
Yeah. Freaking 49er fan.
Right.
Seahawks. I'm a Seahawks fan. Jordan's I wore a 49er sweater to a ugly sweater party. And
I was so excited. I was like, yeah, Niners fan. And you're like, no, it's a joke because it's ugly.
You know, I felt like such a loser after that because I had to explain my joke to like everyone. And if you have to explain your joke, then it's not funny joke.
Anymore.
Yeah. So
I think the problem with that is where we are. We're so close to BYU, and a lot of BYU players have gone and played for San Francisco.
Yeah.
So everyone just assumes, oh, you're a Niner fan.
100%. Who's the linebacker? Was
Warren,
yeah. Fred
Warner.
Yeah. He's freaking good.
He's a stud.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, so where Jordan and I met, we were in the same men's group. We have there's this practice that we do, the badass list. And this is my first.
The imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Exercise.
Yep, exactly. Well, it's funny because like, I knew nothing about, this is Jimmy's program, and I knew nothing about it. I would walk up to the first event.
Same, man. That was my first event too. So.
Yeah. So I'm like.
It's kind of like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah, exactly. Deer in the headlights. But also like imposter syndrome even before I stepped foot in there, because it's like these guys all have success to some level. And so the practice is us men, we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we've accomplished in our accolades. And so Jordan gives his list, and I'm just like, my jaw is dropped how much you've accomplished in your lifetime and like how much wild stories that you've had.
What's funny about that is you went before I did, and I'm sitting there like I feel more imposter syndrome than I did before I read.
Oh my gosh.
Listening to you and some of the guys ahead of us.
No way.
I was like, I'm still trying to accomplish half the things that this kid's already done, and he's younger than me.
Stop, Jordan. It's not even close to being true. So I'm with that being said,
I've just taken a different path to get to where I'm trying to get with.
Okay, I'm going to read Jordan's bio. I don't want to but I want to dive into details on this because I've gotten to know Jordan. Jordan Stevenson is the personification of grit and resilience. Growing up, Jordan spent his childhood dreaming of the day he'd get to wear the American flag on his sleeve. Seeing the attacks of September 11th and the events that would follow only solidified his desire to join the fight. This would lead to 7 years as a U.S. Navy explosive ordnance disposal technician, or EOD. His final deployment would come in December of 2011. On December 16th, 2011, while deployed with the 75th Army Ranger Battalion, Jordan was shot through the left side of his head. Thanks to the extraordinary efforts of his team, Jordan was kept alive. Jordan's wounds would put him into an almost 2-month coma. Due to his injuries, medical staff advised his family that if Jordan survived past his coma, he'd be unable to walk again and permanently have difficulty speaking. With determination and the will to recover, Jordan not only survived, but is now a thriving example of what's possible, even against the unsurmountable odds. Jordan has regained his ability to talk, but with the paralysis of his right side of his body. January 6, 2016, Jordan elected to amputate his right leg below the knee after extensive rehab. The amputation of his leg, the constant pain to his leg, was eliminated. It also gave him more mobility and access to the activities he once enjoyed. After the loss of a former Navy teammate, Jordan has dedicated his life to being an example to men and women like him. And then there's a quote, the only way to ensure something is impossible is to quit. I freaking love that. I appreciate you joining, dude.
It's my life, but when I hear read back to me, it's like, oh yeah. Like even for me, it's like, wow.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and the points too, before you even jumped in the Navy, talk to me about your journey. Like you were a high school athlete. Talk to me about some of your accolades there.
I was a 3-sport varsity athlete with football, wrestling, and track and field. Super athletic, active kid growing up, and it never changed. I've been that kind of a kid that kind of person my whole life. Getting dirty was never something I was afraid of. Getting hurt was never something I was afraid of. If anything, it was something I enjoyed, because then it created another challenge for me to overcome, and I enjoy the thrill of that.
Yeah.
That fear of getting hurt is what was the most fun about athletics and sports.
Yeah.
And I like winning, so that helps.
100%. Where were you raised?
Sacramento, California. Well, okay. I was in a town called Elk Grove.
Cool.
California. It's just south of Sacramento. Nobody knows where Elk Grove is typically, so I just say Sacramento.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Seattle, but I'm really from Mill Creek, which is a town that no one's heard of too. So
I know where Mill Creek is, so I know.
There we go. Yeah.
I'll be your one person that knows.
Yeah, exactly.
But born and raised there, athletic town. When I grown up, it was like Elk Grove High School football. To me, it was like Varsity Blues, the movie. Like that's how I explained football in my town growing up.
Jeez.
Lance Briggs, who played for the Chicago Bears, graduated from my school. Ryan Dinwiddie, who's the coach for one of the teams up in Canadian Football League that won a championship, came from my school.
Jeez. So this isn't some podunk.
No, some high caliber athletes have come out of my high school. So sports were big time.
And you were a 3-sport varsity athlete.
And I lettered in track and football, wrestling, and track and field.
And that's the crazy concept is like you're an amputee now and seeing that this is your life now.
Right.
And you were a 3-sport athlete in high school. That's a crazy, crazy shift. And I want to hear more about that.
That's a hard shift. To this day, that's a hard shift for me.
So how do you even, it's never going to be like you're not going to get over that, right?
No.
I understand that, but how do you cope? Like, what are some ways that you've been able to try and cope? I mean, you're a coach, right?
So the fun of the athletics was the thrill of it. Uh-huh. And so I don't get to do it anymore, but I get to coach it. So I coach high school sports. I help out with the football team, and I coach on the track and field team at Maple Mountain High School in Utah. And so I don't get that thrill of racing myself. And when I get to help these young men and young women set goals and accomplish those goals, I'm racing again. Like I'm in it with them. I'm in the blocks with them.
Yeah.
I'm in the trenches with them, sweating at practice, and I'm out in the heat and with them. So I don't get to do it myself anymore, but living through them and getting to see them and experience it through their eyes is all the joy for me in it there.
That's amazing.
I get to feel, because I know what that feels like for them. So getting to see that in their eyes, that accomplishment of having this goal of setting this time for this race,
yeah,
and seeing them progress towards it and get it is so thrilling. It gives me the same high of accomplishment through them as I do for myself. And I'm super competitive still. So when one of my athletes beats another coach's athletes,
yeah,
I won.
Yeah.
And I've told my athletes that I don't want to put too much pressure on them. Like, if your success is my success. And I enjoy it more than and now my kids are getting involved, and they're starting to get competitive, and I get to coach my daughters. My son has followed my lead, and he wants to run hurdles and race like I did too. And that was something I never encouraged him to, but I'm sure he's heard about it his whole life about his dad. And so now he's doing it. And
that's amazing, dude. I love it. Well, talk to me. I'd love to hear about your journey, like getting into the Navy, right? So you're this amazing athlete in high school. Talk to me about that transition. When you graduated, did you always know you wanted to go in the Navy?
So I was a terrible, terrible high school student. So I compared my high school to Varsity Blues. Uh-huh. And I would say that in that same sense, being an athlete helps you academically. Hey, I need to play this Friday. Can you give me a better grade so I could still play this Friday? Was that kind of school. And I won't say any names because I think he's still a teacher, but I remember going into a teacher one time being like, and he was a coach on one of the younger, like I think the JV team, and going in there and be like, I'm not gonna be able to play this Friday unless you help me get this, unless I get some extra credit to get this grade up. And so I stayed in his class an extra 10 minutes after class and got the extra credit so I could play that Friday night. So I didn't have any academics plans after high school. So I enlisted into the Navy my senior year. My plan was to leave after I graduated high school and go into the Navy. I wanted to be a SEAL. That's all I've ever wanted to be as a kid, playing war games as a kid. That was it. That's all I wanted to be.
A SEAL?
I wanted to be a SEAL. That was it. I wanted to go special forces. That's all I wanted to do. So that was my goal. And then my senior year of track and field, I went to state all 4 years in California, which in California, track and field's a big deal. So I went all 4 years to state, and I received a scholarship my senior year to go run track at Sacramento State University. And this was already after I enlisted in the Navy. So I approached the Navy with it and told them like, hey, they're offering me a scholarship to go run a D1 college level. This is a rare opportunity for me to get. Could I do this? And the Navy let me out of my contract, and I went to run track and field at Sacramento State University and pursue my goals as a D1 decathlete.
Good for you. So you did that for 4 years.
I wish I did that for 4 years. My freshman year as a just a little knuckles dragger that shouldn't have been in college in the first place. I had no aspirations to be there. Setting your own schedule to get to class on your own as a young man for me was ridiculous. Yeah. I should not have been in that position. I was nowhere near the level I should have been to be capable of doing such a thing. My parents got me and my best friend our own place that we rented out from my parents. I was on scholarship money, so that helped. And then I joined a fraternity, Tau Kappa Epsilon, TKE at Sacramento State University, and that was pretty much the end of college for me at that point. It became track practice, training, and fraternity, partying with my fraternity, floating down the Sacramento River, doing all those kind of things except for academics. Yeah. So eventually my academics fell to a level that I couldn't maintain my scholarship, and I lost my track and field scholarship.
So you wanted to do sports and you wanted the college scene, but you didn't want to do the academics.
The college, no. Yeah. Well, and in high school, I could schmooze my way and kind of charm my way through better grades. And in college, they don't play those kind of games. Yeah. And I learned that pretty quickly, that I can't just go in and ask for extra credit and tell them some sob story and have them help me out. It didn't work that way.
So then at this point, college isn't working out.
No.
Then you're saying, okay, let's actually be serious about this Navy thing.
So I got pretty down on myself about it. So I tried going to junior college for a couple years, and I ran track there as well because I didn't want to lose. I was going to lose my 4 years of eligibility if I didn't continue to compete. So I tried running at a junior college, Sacramento City College, for a little while, and then American River College, and academics just never panned out for me. So then I just went back to my fallback plan out of high school, and I went and talked to a recruiter and told him what I wanted to do in the Navy, and passed all the tests, passed all the physical tests, and got signed up for a SEAL contract.
So talk to me about that, because, I mean, as someone that has never been in the military side of things, that I have one of my relatives, this is about what I know, right? He's trying to be in the Air Force. He takes this written test, and in the written test, and then he qualifies for jobs, and then he goes and he's a technician for this, or an engineer for a specific plan. Talk to me, like, what's the Navy version? I know, like, Navy versus Air Force is completely different, right? The
ASVAB is the same across all branches.
Okay.
So academically, I would say I'm not like a good student, but I think I'm still really intelligent. I'm smart enough. So the ASVAB I scored really well on. I scored in like the 99th percentile, so I scored really well, which qualified me for any job I wanted in the Navy. And all I wanted to do was be a SEAL. So that was an easy write off. Like, hey, this is what this kid wants to do. And at that time, the war was so active, they wanted more guys like me coming in to go be a SEAL and go to Buds. So I got a $40,000 signing bonus that I'll receive once I finished SEAL school and Buds. And we did our ASVAB, then it was a swim test, a running test, and a push-ups and sit-ups test. And this is all back to back to back that you have to knock out these numbers. And I don't remember the times and the numbers that were required, but I did it, and it was no problem for me qualifying for those. I was still coming off of collegiate, level track and field. So completing a lot of the tests was simple. Learning side stroke was new because it's combat side stroke is the stroke that you have to use to swim, and it's a 500-meter swim.
What is combat side stroke? Is that like if you had a gun and you're having to swim?
It keeps you really low profile in the water, and I assume that's what the benefit to it is. And you only use one arm to stroke, and you can flutter kick and butterfly kick to stay low, and it keeps a low profile, low sound signature. You're not splashing, you're not making any noise. So
interesting. So
you can get in somewhere without somebody seeing you.
So this is all before Buds.
This is all before Buds.
Okay, so you passed these with
at the Sacramento
colors.
YMCA. I remember
Really?
it very well.
I love it. So you passed this with flying colors. Do you go straight to Buds after this?
I went to the first trip you go to is Navy boot camp.
Okay.
In Great Lakes, Illinois, near Chicago. So that was about, I think, like a 2 months maybe that I was there, and I left there in June of 2006 to go there for that. I think I left on the 5th of June to Chicago Great Lakes to join the Navy, and once you're there, you're in now.
Yeah.
Like there's no backing out anymore. You're sent off, and I'm in training. And my first day I got to boot camp, I developed appendicitis. So I'm sitting in line. It's not easy by itself, just getting all these things done that you have to get done. You have instructors yelling at you, and there's a lot of high pressure and I'm like, I could barely move, like, because my stomach was in so much pain. So my first 2 days in boot camp for the Navy, I was in the hospital. That would later catch up to me in Buds, but my appendicitis got better, and I went into my boot camp class and became the Master at Arms for my boot camp class.
Good for you. So then,
which sounds a lot cooler than it was. I was just in charge of signing people watch. The benefit to that was I never had to stand watch because I got to assign watches. So
okay. Well,
to anybody going in the Navy, become Master at Arms. Not as flashy, but it was nice. Since I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to get to the SEAL training, because I went through the normal boot camp, Navy boot camp, but then in the mornings I had 2 hours that I was with other guys that were going into Buds or EOD or SWIC, and we would go do our own separate training before boot camp would start.
So this is like Buds pre-training almost.
In a sense, yes. Helping us prepare for the swim test that we would do once we get to San Diego.
Okay. So then you finish that. Do you go straight to Buds after that?
After boot camp, it was straight to Buds.
Oh my gosh.
Which was everything everyone ever talks about and how hard it was and,
really?
and what to expect. Nothing about it was easy. The fun part was I was with a bunch of guys that were just like me, that talked like me, looked like me.
Crazy in a sense.
We were all a little psychotic. Yeah. I'm sure we're all on the spectrum of sociopath, psychopaths.
They're the best kind of people.
Yeah, we're the ones that you want supporting you and behind you. Yeah, definitely.
100%. So, I've just from books, movies, right? Like the stuff that's maybe fabricated, maybe not. But
Goggins' book talks about Buds in his class.
Yeah. And that's probably most of my detailed knowledge is from Goggins' book, right? And people have died at Buds, right?
I think so. I'm not that I think so. I think it's happened.
Yeah.
I don't know the circumstances of how it happened, but yes.
Okay. So, to me, you have to feel like you're close to death.
And my most politically correct answer, I think it's happened, but I don't know.
Yeah, there we go. Well, talk to me through that. Like, was there any crazy stories that you had at Buds that you were like, I don't know if I can do this?
So being the college athlete, running was what I was best at. And I won most of the beach runs, and it pays to be a winner when you're in Buds. If you've watched anything, you know that's a running theme with Buds.
Yeah.
So we were doing a run on the beach, and I'm feeling great. I'm doing good. But this run, I'm in the back. I can't catch up to the front of the pack, and I'm just in the back of the pack. And I can't catch my breath. I can't get going. And I woke up in the medic's truck because I passed out during the run.
Oh.
And this was unheard of for me. And I was excelled at the runs and the swims, to the point that they would assign guys to me so that I could help them pass the swims and I could help them pass the run times. I was getting assigned guys to stay with me. And then on this run, I completely blacked out and woke up in the medic's office.
Jeez.
And what I had developed was a SIPE, which is swim-induced pulmonary edema, which is where I got too much salt water and sand in my lungs.
From swallowing
From water
salt.
and sand in my lungs. And I couldn't keep up with the run, and I just passed out because I couldn't get any oxygen in.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my first class. And then I got pulled out of training long enough that I had to get rolled back and start over again with the next class. So my first class was SIPE, and then I rolled back to start over. So now I'm going to do all the 3 weeks of in-doc before I can start first phase again. So I'm back in to get my 3 weeks done, and I'm doing my 3 weeks of in-doc again, which is not first phase, but it's still not easy.
Yeah.
It's basically a mock first phase, which is the hardest part of SEAL training. It's everything leading up to the infamous Hell Week.
Gosh.
So I get to do that a second time. And then that class, I'm a few days out from Hell Week.
Uh-huh.
And my girlfriend came down from Sacramento to visit me that weekend because I wasn't gonna be able to talk to her for a whole week.
Yeah.
So for that weekend, we got a hotel in Coronado. I dished out the big bucks to show off a little bit because I wasn't going to see her for a while or talk to her. And while we were in the hotel room, I remember feeling like so sick, like the same kind of sick I felt in Chicago with my appendicitis. But this was like way worse. Because I had that appendicitis and I didn't get it treated, we just waited until it got better. Once I got into more high stressful situations that the buds puts you in, my appendix had burst. So I was on, which again also can kill you. So I finally was just to my girlfriend. I was like, "You got to call the ambulance. I can't move. I need help." So I get to the ER and I get rushed into emergency surgery to get my appendix removed.
Gosh.
So then I didn't quit. I didn't ring out. So they're not going to kick me out because my appendix burst because my body just, I got hurt.
Yeah.
So then I go back and do it. I'm in my third class and I get to do the first 3 weeks again. I do the first 3 weeks of first phase again, leading up to Hell Week and make it into Hell Week. Finally, for my third class, I make it into Hell Week. And then going into that on the third day in of Hell Week, which is as hard and brutal as you can possibly. You don't sleep at all. There's no recovery time, nothing.
For a week straight.
So I'm in my third day of Hell Week and we're doing a beach run. Again, running is what I'm best at.
Yeah.
And it pays to be a winner. So I'm hoofing it down to the elephant cages. If you've ever been to Coronado, if you look down towards the military base side, the North Island base side, you see these big fences.
Uh-huh.
So we're running down to the fence and back to Buds, and it pays to be a winner. So I'm doing this.
What do you mean by that? Like you get...
There are perks to putting out and to trying hard.
A lighter load on the next one.
Right. There are advantages that can be given for the next evolution. So I'm doing my best to stay up front because maybe I'll get to rest. And running back, my knee starts to hurt. Oh, and I'm like, no way. I'm so confident. I finally made it. And my body's like, what else can go wrong? I'm thinking like, this isn't happening. I finally made it. If I just make it through this week, I'm good. And we get back to the instructor line to where the instructors are. And I think I'm like third. So I'm like, oh, I gotta be one of the winners for this evolution to get the perk. The first two guys get to go have a standing rest next to the boats. So they don't get to sit down. You get to stand next to the boat and rest. And the instructor, Dallas Reyes, gets in my face and he's criticizing me because I think I'm a winner. And he's just like grilling me. And he tells me to stand there and tell every person that comes in after me to hit the surf and get wet and sandy. So I stand there and do exactly what he told me to do. Maybe that was my rest.
Yeah.
But my knee is just throbbing. Like I'm in pain just standing there. So they all come in. Last guy finally comes to me and he gets wet and sandy. And I'm still standing there because.
What does get wet and sandy like?
Run out into the ocean, come back up to the sand and roll around in the sand so you're covered in sand. So you're soaking wet, cold, and covered in sand. And I'm standing there and I'm like, because I didn't get any further instruction other than that to do that. So I'm just standing there like, do I go back to the boats? I don't know what to do. And about that time, same instructor is back in my face, telling me I'm going to get wet and sandy. So I never got my break. My knee feels like it's going to break. And we go to lift boats back up on our boats on heads. And we're going to go up and over the berm and do boat races. And I can't do it. My knee just won't move. My knee is locking out at this point because I'm so cold that I can't move anymore. So I had to, unfortunately, pull myself out of training because I couldn't do it anymore. I had been through, this is like 6 months now of first phase that I've been through, cycling over and over and doing it. So my body's just so broken. Mentally, I wanted to still be in the fight. I wish I was maybe I'm not as tough as Goggins to push through that kind of pain, but my knee just wouldn't work anymore. And it wasn't until like a year later that we actually found out what happened. But I guess I'll get to that point with where I ended up in my career. So I pulled myself out of training because my knee is swollen. It looks like a basketball. I wouldn't even say softball because that's too small. Like my knee is swollen. I can barely walk. So I pulled myself out of buds, and now I need to figure out what to do again because I can't be a SEAL now because I pulled myself out of training, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do now. So I interviewed to be a Navy diver because I'm still under a special contract. I still want that 40G signing bonus.
Yeah. So a special contract is different than just normal Navy. You are like...
Well, you sign for a 6-year contract rather than a 4-year contract.
Okay.
So I'm in for 6 years now regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
So I go and interview with the Navy dive team. Maybe I'll become a Navy diver. And then I heard I had a friend that was interviewing for EOD. That was explosive ordnance disposal, which we call the best kept secret in the Navy. And I went and interviewed for that and got grilled about how, if I quit this, how do they know I won't quit that when I go to that training also? And I convinced him that I would, which were valid questions, but I convinced him that I would be, a good choice to still send over there and to send into school. And
because it's intense training here as well.
EOD is not a level down by any means. It's still very hard training.
Really?
Very intensive training. As a Navy EOD tech, you become a Navy diver qualified. You become deep sea gas qualified. You're qualified in explosives. You do all qualified in weapons. So you do all these kind of things in EOD. I didn't know about any of this as a kid. Now that I do now, it's a really cool job.
Yeah.
We're just not as Hollywood.
Exactly.
As the SEALs are. We wouldn't have movies made about us.
But that's insane. But
little did I know, as I'm interviewing for them, I'm like, oh yeah, I can go do this. This sounds fun. As a kid, I made bombs out of rocket engines. Like, this sounds like up my alley. I want to do this too.
Yeah.
And in EOD, there's more emphasis on saving life than there is taking life. So that aspect of it, I thought was really, really cool too. Like, maybe I'm not as much of a psychopath as I thought I was. Yeah. I want to go save lives.
Yeah.
And I would still deploy with SEALs. I ended up deploying when I was injured, I was deployed with Army Rangers. So I got to work intertwined with lots of different special forces teams.
So you are in the special forces by all means. We are
under the umbrella of SOCOM, yes.
With them, you are entrenched in the front lines, obviously.
Right, yeah, and I've jumped out of planes. I've done all these cool things. And so I interviewed for that, but I didn't know at the time, like physically I could do this. What I didn't know was that EOD school is one of the most academically challenging schools in the military. I don't have a good background with academics. I'm like,
yeah.
I didn't know that until I was already knee deep in EOD school, that I'm like, this is really hard work and very intensive studying and training.
Gosh.
Because we learned IEDs, improvised explosive devices, chemical weapons and biological weapons, nuclear weapons. We learned every facet of weaponry that the military arsenal has so that I can find it, disarm it, render it safe for my team to do whatever we need to do in any given situation.
I mean, it just sounds complicated. It sounds and it's
all secret material. So I can only study at school. I can't take any of it home to study. I could only have so many hours a day that I'm at school doing the training that I could actually study.
Can't take the books home.
Nothing. You can't take any of it home. So you have this a lot of time to study, and that's it. So you have to do your best to cram it in and memorize it in the time frame that you have, which I'd never done before. How I passed it through it, I don't know. I just did it.
That's wild.
And you get one chance to fail a test. If you fail a test once, you get one chance to retake the test and try and pass it. But if you fail a test twice, you're done.
You're done.
You're out of EOD school.
Dude, that's insane.
So being a barely high school graduate,
Yeah.
college academic dropout, I didn't fail a single test in
Good
EOD
for
school,
you.
which I'm proud of.
Yeah. A different type of application. I mean, if saving lives is on the other end of it, then there's probably a little bit more motivation.
And I look at EOD now and I explain to people like it's high stakes puzzles, and that was fun to me. Like, use my brain to try and figure out how this works was really fun for me, because bombs are really simple. And if you look at them from a building standpoint, they need a power source, they need an explosive, and they need something that's going to take that power source to detonate that explosive. So at any point, if I can cut one of those lines, I just rendered it safe.
But you can
but
cut
like
the
I said,
wrong
it's very
line,
high stakes.
right?
You have to know what you're cutting and how they're, because the bomb builders aren't dumb either. They know that that's what I'm trying to do. So they will make it as complicated as possible for me to figure it out. And that's why I said it's high stakes puzzles.
Goodness.
But I ended up loving it. It was where I was meant to be. And I think BUD/S was my starting point, my launching point to get to EOD. And EOD was where I was supposed to be. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I've jumped out of planes. I've been 300 feet underwater. I've done a lot of really exciting, fun things. And if getting hurt and having BUD/S fall through and my dreams shatter with being a SEAL fall apart for me to become an EOD tech and find the brotherhood and friendships that I did through EOD, then it was where I was supposed to be and it was what was supposed to happen.
100%. And I firmly believe that's where you were supposed to be too. Like it seems to align with your skill set and what you wanted to do. And
well, I've heard you talk about like your failures and how it's helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah.
My failures, BUD/S being one of them, is absolutely one of them. College is absolutely one of them. All of the things that I have failed at made me better at becoming an EOD tech. And then everything else that I have failed at in my life has made me a better father, a better husband, a better friend, better son than I think I would have ever been otherwise. So
yeah.
I don't look back. I look back at BUD/S with fond memories. Of course, I wish I could have made it through, but I'm not disappointed with how it ended for me.
And I don't think anyone's perspective of like, that doesn't seem like a failure by any means, like to me on the outside, right? It's like you're in Navy EOD who's disarming bombs. Like that's like just as badass, right? Like, so I wouldn't say the outside seems like it's a failure by any means, but at this point you're in EOD school. You're obviously passed with flying colors. You didn't fail a single test.
No, I did very well.
Did you have any kids at this point?
At this point, not yet.
Okay.
I had just gotten married.
Okay.
Just gotten married to my first wife.
Perfect. And was this in between BUD/S and EOD school, or?
This was in between dive school and EOD school, because as an EOD tech, we go to Navy dive school first.
Okay.
And then we go to EOD school. So yeah, I have to pass Navy dive school first, which isn't easy by itself. And then you tack on EOD school after it. So it was in between Navy dive school and EOD school that I got married.
I love it. And did you have your first kid in between here or not yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay. So now that you've graduated your Navy EOD, when do deployments start? When does that world kick in?
So upon completion of EOD school, you get assigned what unit you're going to go get to be a part of and be the new guy on the team. And I requested that I go back to San Diego, which had EOD Mobile Unit 1 and EOD Mobile Unit 3 out of Coronado.
And why did you want those groups?
Because I'm from California, so I'd be closer to my family, closer to my home. And my wife of the time was also from California, so it'd be closer to her family and her home. At the time, we were living EOD schools in Florida, so we had already been gone for a long time. So let's move home and be closer to family. And we were in Sacramento, which is still like a 7-hour drive to San Diego. So we're still not close to home, but we're at least closer.
For sure. So it wasn't necessarily for like the job specific. It was like, I just want to be close to family.
It was location.
Familiarity. Okay. So did you get your choice?
I did. Yeah. I landed at EOD Mobian 1 on Coronado.
Perfect. And what does it look like from there?
From there, unfortunately, I got there while there wasn't a team getting built up and ready for deployment. So I was the new guy on the bottom guy on the totem pole, doing stuff in the office, cleaning the offices for the NCOs and my OIC's office, and keeping stuff clean, doing paperwork, which was mind-numbingly painful for me.
For sure. And that's because there wasn't a need for your specific role at the time?
At the time, yeah. The teams that were being built up on EOD Mobile Unit 1 were already deployed or already doing workups to be deployed.
I see.
So I didn't have another team that was being readied for pre-deployment or being deployed.
And was everyone going to Afghanistan at this time?
At this time, for the most part, yes.
Okay. So you had to wait. You had to do some dirty work.
So I was doing that, which I'd put in to get my stripes, which I get.
Yeah.
And then I get assigned to a team a couple months later. It was during that time that I remember sitting in one of the safe rooms where we have all of our top secret material. And I'm just doing paperwork in there. And I remember when I walked out of that room, I got a phone call, and I looked to my buddy Chris that I had already gone to EOD school with. And I just looked at him. I was like, she's pregnant. I know it. I hadn't even answered the phone yet. Answered the phone. She was pregnant.
Goodness.
So that's how that started.
Well, talk to me about that emotion. Like in a high stakes role for sure. I mean, like what is having that kid, understanding that you're going to have a kid?
It was a high stakes role, but we were also young and naive that the realization that this is a life-threatening job wasn't there. Like, it was still just fun.
Interesting.
Like, war didn't seem real yet because no one had shot at me yet.
Yeah.
So I didn't, that part of it didn't even cross my mind. I was just excited I was having a kid. I was going to get to be a dad. Like, how cool is that going to be? So
let's fast forward too, because I mean, that's an interesting point, right? It's like boxing. Like you have a game plan until you get punched in the face. From Mike Tyson, yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Exactly. Right. So like, let's fast forward to your deployment where your first time in action, right? Where it's like, oh my gosh, maybe it's starting to hit in or like settle in that this is high stakes, that your life is at hand. Do you just have one kid at this time?
I did. Yeah. His name is Caden.
Perfect.
And he was just one. So on that deployment, he was 2 years old.
Okay. And
so we fast forwarded 2 years.
Okay, perfect. And then what deployment is this?
This is Sharana, Afghanistan.
Okay. And talk to me about...
This is my first and last deployment to Afghanistan.
Really? Okay.
I'd gone to other parts of the world doing other things, but this was my first combat role in Afghanistan, assigned to 75th Ranger Battalion, Bravo Company, out of Fort Benning, Georgia.
Jeez. Okay, so you had been in other deployments previous, but...
I'd done other things, but not in a combat engaging role.
Okay.
So the part we fast forwarded through is I did underwater demolition for a large part of my career, which is where we find underwater unexploded ordnance that's at the bottom of the ocean and get rid of that.
So still very high stakes, just not people shooting at you.
Right. And looking back, like, wow, how scary was that? But your training just kicks in and you don't feel the fear, because when you get scared is when you start to make bad choices.
Gosh.
If anything deters you from your goal and that's right in front of you, that's when mistakes are made. Fear causes mistakes.
And I want to hone in on that too, because before we fast forward 2 years again, I can only assume the high stakes are not limited to just the bomb blowing up, right? Like if you've done dive training, extensive dive training, and you've been 300 feet underwater, I can only assume
if something happens down that deep, that you're not making it back up to the surface.
So I mean, talk me through that. Like, what do you need to do to prepare yourself to be safe? Is it like making sure you're like Like, talk to me about that, because scuba diving
training, we did a lot of training, like repetitive training. Like skydiving, we do a lot of training on what to do under the canopy, so that we're prepared, so that when something wrong happens, we already know what to do. Like it's without thought.
So what can go wrong? Like, what are the risks when you're diffusing a bomb underwater besides the bomb? Because I can assume your lungs like have to adjust when you're going to certain depths.
We dove on a Mark 16, which is a mixture of helium and oxygen, so heliox or nitrox. And I had two little lights in my mask that would flash red and green, and I had to memorize those patterns of what they meant, because they meant different things for my gas mixture that I was breathing through, because it's just a breather. So too much oxygen, too much
oh my gosh,
helium is going to make me sick at that depth. And you can get nitrogen narcosis, where you it's almost like being drunk. Guys have taken off their masks at depth. And so there are those kind of things where if I'm not paying attention to what my system's telling me, things can go wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Fortunately, with every dive, I'm tethered to a dive buddy. I was never by myself. I was always with another dive buddy. So we always kept track of each other. It was very much a team effort. Me looking out for him and him looking out for me, and paying attention to what each other's doing, so that we were both keeping each other safe.
That's wild. Good for you, dude.
So lots of dangerous things that can go wrong. But again, when we're in it and we're so focused on the job and the task that we're doing, we're not taking the time to worry about how dangerous this is.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt a pilot's flying a plane thinking about how dangerous it is that they're floating on air.
Yeah, that's
They're just doing they're just pulling their levers and taking care of the plane like they're supposed to. They don't not think about the fact they have 80 to 100 people behind them that they're responsible for. You don't think about that stuff. You just do what you've trained to do.
For sure. That's
so then that fear doesn't come in, because I'm focused on what I'm doing. I need to go down, get my scan with my sonar and my radar on the sea floor, and make sure I get a good scan. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about like, holy crap, it's really dark because I'm this deep underwater. In Hawaii one time, I got bumped by a shark, which was terrifying.
Okay.
But and at that point, I took to my dive buddy. I gave him a 4. 4 means surface. So I was like, we're going up. And so we surfaced, and he was like, dude, what's wrong? What's happening? I'm like, shark, dude, you didn't see the shark. And
he never saw it.
He never saw it. But
oh my.
So I guess aside from the bombs, there's sea life.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even think about that.
But I didn't even think about that until it bumped into me.
Is it pretty dark down there?
It's really dark. And I looked over and I just saw the body of it swimming away, and the stripes from the tiger shark.
My gosh.
And
those aren't nice.
No, which was a really cool story to tell once I got to the surface and told all my buddies about it. But
oh my gosh. That's wild. Okay, so you're obviously in high stake endeavors just throughout at your deployments,
everything.
Right?
We didn't do even training. I mean, you see on TV all the time, it was like a training exercise, something bad happened, someone died because of a training exercise. We train that much so that in a real life scenario situation, if something happens, we've already dealt with it.
Well, it's crazy too, because you hear about these like underwater welders and how high paid they are because of how dangerous that is.
Oh yeah.
And you're literally diffusing bombs underwater, like
getting paid scraps for being in the military.
That's wild. Okay. So now
we fast forward.
Yeah. Let's fast forward
to that deployment
to the
Sharana, Afghanistan.
Yeah. And however much you're comfortable sharing, like
we could go through every detail you want.
I know you shared this more. So, I mean, I'd love to hear about it. Like maybe let's start with your first understanding that, geez, you are in the thick of active.
It's almost embarrassing to tell this part of the story, because I'm realizing that we're really in it now. So one of the ops that we went on, the Chinooks take us to and from our target.
That's the local people?
The Chinook is the helicopter with the two big props on it. It's the really big helicopter.
Oh, okay.
With the two blades on top of it. Really big.
Yeah.
That's what took us to and from our targets. If something bad happened, the Black Hawk would come and grab us. But to and from with the Ranger team, it was with the Chinooks. And being a new guy, I didn't know a lot of the procedures that they did before on liftoff off of our FOB.
Yeah.
A FOB is a forward operating base. So the little base,
I was going to ask,
kind of out in the mountains, it was the Sharana base that we were on. And the Chinook picked us up, did all of our prep, got all my gear. I got a backpack full of explosives. My body armor's set. I got all my ammo on it. Excuse me. And we're in the Chinook. We lift off. And this is probably like 12, midnight, 1 a.m. Like, it is dark.
Yeah.
In Afghanistan. We're way up in the mountains. There's no light pollution at all because it's in the middle of nowhere. And then it's not like they have this civilization like we have in the States where there's streets, lights, and things like that. So it's dark.
Yeah.
And every time you lift off and get off the fob, the gunner lets off a bunch of rounds to make sure his weapon's operating properly. So we get off the ground. I'm getting ready. And my nerves are kind of already kind of in my stomach and in my chest, and then brrr, lets off the minigun. I'm like, it's happening. I'm thinking we're about to engage. I'm getting ready, and then it's just.
So you knew it was a hot zone when you took off. That's why the nerves were there.
Oh yeah, I knew we were going into it. But I didn't know at the time that it was normal operating procedures to shoot the gun. So I'm thinking in my head, without having someone like tell me like, no, that's normal. This is just standard. I'm thinking he's shooting at somebody. Like, why else are we shooting a gun if we're not shooting at somebody? So that was it. And that's embarrassing because that's a super rookie green guy move. But that was it for me. That's when I was like, this is real.
Oh my gosh. Are they not worried people are going to hear that?
We're so far out away from everything, at least the fobs are, that we're not worried about it.
Okay.
And if anybody's around there, they're not good guys. And these helicopters aren't quiet. So they already know.
Oh, that's true.
They already know we're flying.
Yeah, it's not like it's a stealth.
No, it's not a stealth helicopter by any means. They're big and loud.
Okay, so...
Which is why I always thought it was so funny. Like, we're flying these at night. It's not like we're sneaking in. They know we're coming. They hear it.
That's insane.
Which is what they did anyways. They had guys that would be on phones like, hey, helicopter lifted off and they're moving. A team's moving out of the base. And then they'd follow it along and pass that along through their chain. So that
I've seen, assuming that Black Hawk Down is decent, even half accurate. I remember their walkie-talkies talking.
Oh yeah, they know.
Yeah,
they know.
That's insane.
Once we're on the ground, we're moving. We're the best in the world, but they're not dumb either. They know we're flying.
So you guys are going to the base that's closer to this zone right now.
So when the weapons went off. Yeah, and that's how I knew. So we went and landed at our target. We're going after HVTs, which are high value targets.
Okay.
So whatever
is that a person?
Whatever intel they gather and says that this guy is who we're going after.
Yeah. We
need him. And that's what we did. We were target hunting, bounty hunters, I guess is a way to explain it that people might be able to understand is we got a name, we got a picture, we got a location, go get this guy.
So as a Navy EOD
with Rangers,
what's your role in all this, in the hunting?
So when the helicopter lands, I would have a MIMID, which is a metal detector, and I would clear a walking path, assuming we don't find any pressure plates of IEDs on our path to the target.
So you're the first person out.
I'm tip of the spear for my team.
Oh my god!
With a metal detector, hoping that I don't step on it, that I don't miss it, because now my whole I'm responsible for every guy behind me. So I'm clearing. I'm dropping IR chem lights, clearing a path so they know which way to follow on our night vision goggles. And I clear the path up to the target building. And then once we get to the target building, if it's a bomb builder or IED, I'll clear the doors. If there's any booby traps, it's my job to clear it.
Jeez.
If it's a bomb builder and there's any explosive material, it's my job to collect it and collect all the forensics for it. And so that's what I did as an EOD tech.
Oh my goodness.
And if there were any explosives, it was my job to clear it and make it safe for my team to keep going and do their job and get this HVT, get our target.
So you guide them to the building, right? And is this
to and from extraction?
Okay. So talk to me the next step of this journey or this mission
of that op.
Yeah.
So that op, we were successful.
Oh, okay.
My first op was successful. Got our guy.
Are you capturing? Or I don't know if I'm supposed
to acquiring.
Okay.
Most of the time, yeah, we would, and in whatever way we would arrest them. What happened once we got to the target, I did my job. What happened outside of the realm of what I was responsible for, I can't answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did my job for my team, and that was it. It's like an electrician trying to tell you how the concrete, form was built.
Makes sense.
He did his job.
Interesting.
Or I guess vice versa, the concrete guy telling you how the electrician did his job.
It makes perfect sense. Okay, so that's your successful
first mission, which was cool.
Yeah. And then you go back to the base.
Go back to base, eat breakfast, work out, get briefed on the next night's mission.
Wait, the next day?
Oh yeah, we went every single night. We went out every single night.
Oh my!
It was very. So the perk of what we did is such a high workload that our deployments were a lot shorter, like 4 or 6 months tops, because we're such a high workload that they'll burn us out if we stay any longer. So every night we were going out and getting. So we'd get home, breakfast, because we'd get back home around normal people's breakfast time. The other perk about what Special Forces got to do is we had our own section of the base with our own cooks, with our own gym. So we got to do our own thing. Nobody really bothered us. I had the Navy's version because I was attached to the Army, but as a Navy guy, we had all of our own gear. So I had a sat phone so I could call home and talk to my wife and check on my kids. And
that's amazing.
I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but we did.
Yeah.
Which it was an added bonus.
For sure.
And then we'd prep for that next night's operation.
So you're doing
lots of briefings. What gear are we going to need? What's my job going to be? What do they need from me? Because I am just an asset to the Rangers. I am at their disposal. What do you need me to do? You need me to blow a hole open in a wall to get you guys in? I can do that for you. If you need me to lead point to clear IEDs because we suspect that there will be, I could do that for you.
That's wild. And
it was so much fun. I was living my dream. This was everything I wanted to do as a kid, and I was doing it. And this is like video game stuff, and I'm doing it in real life.
It sounds like it. That's why I'm so intrigued hearing it.
Everything that I ever wanted to do as a kid, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like my own little superhero. I'm surrounded by men that would die for me, and I would die for them. And I've never felt safer in my life than I was in Afghanistan in combat than I was with these men around me.
That's such a wild concept.
Which is why I think that's why a lot of guys have trouble coming home, is because we have such a safety net and we feel so safe with the men around us that once we're home, when we're alone, like, man, I don't
talk to me about that.
I don't feel as safe anymore. Like I go to the grocery store. I don't know this guy behind me. I don't know these people around me. If something happens, which seems to be happening a lot now, someone starts shooting, do I trust these people around me?
Yeah. Wild. So how long were you doing this until the mission that went sideways?
Man, this is another depressing point of it, and to a degree. I mean, I'm living my dream, so that's fun. Yeah. Whether it's a day or 4 months, I'm living my dream. So, and I accomplished my dream. This is all I want to do, and I accomplished it. I'm very proud of that. But the night that things went wrong was December 16th, 2011. This is 8 days that I've been in Afghanistan now. So this is my eighth mission going out. So I was 8 days in Afghanistan before things went bad.
Jeez. And yeah, this is walk me through this mission with as generic or detailed as you're comfortable with. Like, walk me through that.
I mean, I'd have to go back. If I go back, I'd go back to the night we got back, or when we got back from that previous night's op. I remember getting back, really good workout in. I remember I hit shoulders that morning to the point that like my arms were really fatigued. But back then, life was a lot different for me. I was a little advanced in my training with external help.
Oh, yeah. You had some supplements.
Some supplements, some special supplements Because in our heads, like, this is combat. I don't care how I get big.
Yeah.
I want to be bigger than the guy I'm going to get in a fight with.
Dude, it makes perfect sense.
Like, I'm walking out of there.
So that's common in the special forces then?
Sure.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's common to train and to be the most violent you could possibly be.
I mean, dude, I would take whatever. I don't think that's something weird. Like, I would take whatever the hell I need to give me one advantage over the next guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Does this skinny dude in Afghanistan have the gym that I do? No.
Yeah, exactly.
Do I need to be bigger than him because he's going to have weapons?
Exactly. So you hit a good workout.
So I remember that well because I was so high off that workout, like, because I was lifting heavy. I was like, oh, I felt good. So I was my day started off really well. Had a good breakfast. I remember I used the sat phone to call my wife at the time, and I told her from the brief that this looked like it might be a rough night coming in the next op.
What's her, like, what can she say? Like, what is her reaction to that at the time? That seems like such a wild conversation. Like, hey, wife, I don't know, I guess
out of sight, out of mind. Maybe she was still taking care of our boy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be an interesting question to ask her. Like, what was going through your mind on that phone call?
Insane. Maybe I love you. Good luck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just be safe.
Yeah.
As you can. I mean, I guess another way you could answer that is just to talk to any police officer's spouse.
Yeah.
What's it like when they leave?
For sure.
But I remember I made that phone call letting her know, and, wanted to talk to her and my son before I went out that night, because something in me felt more nervous than I had the previous 7 nights. I had this nervous angst that I needed to be on my game and be ready.
Yeah. So
I took a lot of time getting my gear prepped for that night. And what I got briefed on was that this compound that we were hitting had walls all the way around it. And these are 20 plus foot walls all the way around this house and this compound. And what they wanted me to do.
So did they create those that wall to protect this specific person?
Guy? Probably.
Gosh.
Or it's
wild.
just like we do now, private communities, we have walls around them.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a wealthy person that lives in Afghanistan that was probably high up on their Taliban, hierarchy, that he was able to have such means of protection.
Yeah.
Within the compound, there are a lot of vehicles, a lot of cars. So what they assigned me to do was they needed me to get eyes on the vehicles from the top of the wall. So I had this junior private ranger, young man, that was assigned to me. He was going to carry my ladder to the wall and hold my ladder for me as I ascended the wall, so that I can get eyes on inside the compound on these vehicles. The worry is that these vehicles are booby-trapped, loaded with explosives, so that as my team would infill into this compound, that one of these vehicles would detonate and kill a bunch of my teammates. That was the reason why I was told that they needed me to get eyes on to check these vehicles. And I'm looking for any deviation in these vehicles. If one's weighted really heavy in the rear, I know something's in the trunk or anywhere in the vehicle.
Oh, interesting. So
if anything looks out of place, that's my job to find it, see it, and figure out how I could either manage it, take care of it, or move to a tertiary plan and plan B, or how else were we going to go in there and get this guy. So that was what I was assigned to do, was get up that wall and get eyes on these vehicles inside. And so after we got all of our gear prepped and we were getting ready to go out that night, it was colder than I have ever been in my entire life. I've never felt that kind of cold before. Sure, Afghanistan is high desert, very similar to Utah, but a lot colder and a lot higher in altitude.
I didn't know that.
In the summers, it's blazing heat because it is still desert, but it was the kind of cold that it's hard to explain how cold it was. Like it made my soul was cold.
Yeah.
Like every part of me was freezing that night. And I remember sitting on the tarmac waiting for our helicopter to come in, and we're all huddled around each other with our little crappy hand warmers, trying to stay warm, bottled up, and worrying if I was even going to be able to use my equipment if I needed them, because I couldn't feel my fingers. And how scared I was for that moment.
Yeah.
And then the helicopter came, picked us up, and off we went to that target.
Jeez.
And everything was going smoothly. I followed my guy with my ladder up to the wall, through a ditch, and it's frozen farm field, so it's really
let me help me visualize this. Like there's this.
So we land in a field,
okay,
and picture like rolling farm fields, like with like the divots, like a plow went through, and it's like divots where things were planted. But it's frozen ground, and we're running as fast as we can across this frozen dirt to this big wall.
And then this wall has.
But from our point of view, all we see is a wall.
Okay, interesting. So all you see is a wall at this point. You don't know what's behind it because it's a 20-foot wall.
Yeah, because it's a huge wall. So approaching it, I can't see anything other than a wall.
Yeah.
So we get to the wall, and there's this big culvert right before the wall, almost like, I guess you would, if you're imagining like a moat would be.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if that's what it was designed for as protection, but I'm sure it's like for irrigation maybe. But it's big culvert right before the wall. My guy put the ladder down there and up to the wall, and up I went. About 20 to 30 feet up.
Okay, so what happens there? You're scaling this. Where's your team at this point? Are they close?
We are. So as we plan it, we're located all the way around this whole thing.
Okay.
So we have men all around this. I'm not the only one going up a ladder. There are multiple men going up the ladder. I'm the only one that's designated to look at and find the vehicles.
Okay, I see. Makes sense.
But everyone has their job of they're going up to provide
Scout
fire,
something,
or to get superior firepower inside the compound in case something happens.
So they're assuming that it is going to be hot as soon as you look over that wall.
Yeah, the anticipation is always that we're going to get pushback or find conflict.
Okay.
So I get up there, and my team's out doing their thing. And I radio, and I get my eyes on the vehicles, and they all look just like broken down cars. I don't see anything that makes me suspicious at all. And I'm looking for wires. I'm looking for anything coming out of a vehicle into the building. Like I'm looking for anything like that. And I don't see anything. And I remember I had my radio on my chest, and I remember radioing to my team leader that EOD1, this is EOD1, vehicles appear clear to me, free to pursue forward. And that's the last thing I remember for that night. A guy, the target that we were going after, came out with his wife as a shield in front of him and opened fire on me with the AK-47.
Are you serious?
So, again, that's the last.
How far away?
That's the last thing I remember. But what I was told was it's like.
And you're on a ladder?
I'm on top of a wall. I'm standing on a ladder, but I'm at the top of a wall on the ladder. So my feet are just on a ladder, and I have my weapon over the top of the wall.
Yeah.
And probably 40 yards or closer.
Jeez.
So really close.
Yeah.
For that size of a weapon. And I don't remember enough to say whether or not he put a well-placed shot at me or if it was just bullets on and just spray. We call it spray and pray. They just kind of hold the trigger down on full automatic. And we don't ever shoot automatic because it's very inaccurate.
Yeah.
So if he got lucky and happened to catch me is how he got me. Looking back, being such a junior guy, this is the first time I've ever done something like that. Looking back, everything's always, hindsight's always 20/20. I probably silhouetted myself because I came up too high on the wall. I should have kept a lower profile on the wall.
Interesting.
But I didn't.
I mean, yeah. How much practice do you have in that
situation? Zero.
Yeah, exactly. Which is insane. So yeah, talk to me about what your teammates witnessed. Cause you've talked to me about that outside of the podcast. So he opened fire on me. The bullet went through the left side of my helmet, just a little bit above where my eyebrow would be on my left side of my head. The bullet penetrated through my helmet, all the way through my head, and out through the back of my helmet. So the bullet went in and out. Insane.
No bullet left behind. Went all the way through.
And so you don't remember what happened after that?
Nothing. I remember radioing my team and the vehicles were clear. That's it.
And based on their situation,
based on what they told me, I was able to come back down on target with my weapon and put 30 rounds back down range. I don't remember any of it, but I put bullets back down range. My job was to keep my team safe. And I like to think that that's what I was trying to do.
That's
like even with everything going on, being wounded, I was still trying to keep my team safe.
That
I returned fire.
Wild.
His wife, unfortunately, was killed in the process.
I mean, yeah. If he's using her as a shield, that's right, unfortunate.
Yeah, that is war, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then once the adrenaline wore off, I'm sure that's when I fell off the wall.
So you fell off the 20-foot wall.
With all my gear on and how much I weighed, I probably weighed well over 320 pounds. Like I was a lot of weight falling down off that wall.
Oh my God.
And I had this young junior first deployment ranger holding my ladder, and he sees me hit the ground. He's probably 18 years old. Sees me hit the ground. And the call went over the wire, that we have a man hurt, someone got shot. Because once I started shooting and they shot at me, like we had guys stationed around this compound for a reason. Like superior fire started. Bullets were now just like all over this whole compound. Nothing was going to walk out of there. So.
And was it on their end too?
It was just him. It was just him and his wife.
Really?
That opened fire on us.
So your team took things down and
yeah, so it was over after that. And the way I explain it is, or the way I try to help people understand is that, and the way I look at it is, like I saved my team that night.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he shot me, nobody else on my team got shot that night. I'll take that bullet 100 times out of 100 if it saves one of the guys on my team. Which goes back to what I was talking about. Like I feel safe around those men because I knew that they were willing to give their lives for me, just like I was for them. So I would do that. They would, if somebody else was in that position, they would have done the same thing. And I'm proud of that. And I got to keep my team safe. That was my job, and I did it. I kept my team safe that night.
Gosh,
so I get chills when I think about it because I'm so proud of it. That
you should be.
That even though things ended up the way they did, I'm happy they did because I kept somebody else from going home hurt or dead.
100%. And I mean, the amount of lives that you've been able to influence for being that person, I think is rad. I'm one of those people that like looks up to you and thinks to myself, like I haven't been through anything in my life because I have a very safe environment around me. I live in the United States of America. I have food on my table, shelter over my head. And so it puts a new perspective knowing you and knowing your story. So I appreciate that.
So then I fell off the wall. Medics got to me and they got me I fell into a bunch of bushes, which didn't help them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because they had to get me up onto a gurney now. And the medic does the head to toe when he first gets to me. And there was blood all down my neck. So their thought is, the first message that went across the wire that got back to my family was that Jordan got shot in the neck. We'll let you know what happened. As we find out more, we'll let you know. But Jordan was wounded. So my family knew relatively quickly that I was wounded, but they didn't know how severe it was. And then finally, I guess, and I'm still talking at this point. They can't get me to stop talking. And I'm just this blabbermouth telling them my head hurts. Let me go. I'm ready to fight. Let's go. I was still like, adrenaline was still like flowing through me, and what that can do to you is incredible. So I'm telling him my head hurts, and my medic finally takes my helmet off, and then he sees the damage that actually was done to me.
Oh my gosh.
And my medic, Robert Moreno, kept his hand on my head for probably almost an hour to stop the bleeding. And throughout that whole process, on the helicopter ride, I'm pulling the gauze out, and I just want to go back and fight. Like I was fighting him, trying to save me. But it became, the way he explains it, it almost became like a tool for him that I was still alive. Like if I got quiet, but I was still trying to fight him, he knew I was still alive. It was only when I got quiet and I stopped fighting him that he got worried.
Who got worried?
Robert Moreno, my medic.
Oh, I see.
So I owe my life to this man. He was the lead medic on that operation that night, and he should not have left. He left his junior medic with the team that night. But he had so much conviction to save me that night because on a prior deployment, he'd lost a teammate that was wounded similar to me. and he was determined not to lose me. So he left his junior medic with the team, and he left with me on the helicopter. And thank goodness he did, because he was yelling at people on the phone, on the radio, to get them prepared for me to get to the surgeons and to take care of me. It was because of him that I am alive.
That's insane.
So I'm throwing up, and he keeps turning me and sticking his finger in my throat to get the throw up out of my mouth so I could still breathe. And it is because of him that I am here. My kids are here because of him. And I think my kids have gotten to meet him since. And my wife,
stay in touch with him.
My wife has gotten to meet him and hear the story from him.
That's absolutely amazing. Gosh. So, I mean, how long did that mission last? You probably don't know the details, huh?
I guess the details of that I don't know, because it seems like a blink. Like it was like all of a sudden it was there and then it was over.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how long it actually took. I know that I think the helicopter flight to and from was maybe 45 minutes. What was most dangerous in my situation, why Moreno was such a key role in my survival, is that a medevac would have taken another 45 minutes to get to me. But because our helicopters had only just left and were still within the vicinity, that the transport helicopters that brought us there just turned around and came back and picked us up. So I guess that answers how quickly.
So that could have been really bad. Like if you guys were deep in it, and
if I was unable to get that helicopter back to me as quickly as it was, I wouldn't have survived. If we would have had to have waited for a medevac, I don't know that I would have made it.
That's absolutely insane.
So for the pilots to say we got them, and to probably I haven't talked to them, but to deter from their assignment and just to say we're going to go back and get him. There's fire, but we're going to go and get this guy. Is another reason why I'm still here, for them to deter from their.
That's such a cool story, dude. I mean, cool, like now, right?
No offense taken. I think it's cool. I like telling the story. That's why I like talking about it, because it is cool. It's a cool story. I'd watch a movie about it.
It's cool because it's a miracle, right? Like it's cool because of how much you've been able to influence, and I know who you are today. And like, it's cool because I see this determination of like your story in so many ways, like as an athlete, going through what you did, and then here we are jumping off a 400-foot rope swing.
Yeah, Moab.
You're just like, I'm doing it. No hesitation.
Yeah, there was.
So you got one hand, hold on. I got two and I'm scared.
So to get to the one hand part, I'll explain what happened, what the results of the bullet wound were. I spent like you said in my bio, I spent nearly 2 months in a coma. My family, once they were told Jordan was shot through the head, he's probably not going to survive. My wife, my mom, and my sister flew to Longshoel, Germany to say their goodbyes to me in Germany because they didn't think I was going to survive.
Oh.
So they flew to Germany to say goodbye to me because they didn't think I was going to survive. And my heart kept beating and I never stopped. But they were told that if Jordan wakes up, with where his brain injury was and what we could already tell by his mechanics and how his body looks, is his right arm and right leg are probably going to have severe paralysis, and he may never be able to speak again. Like he's probably going to have a hard time with language and speaking again as well, and reading. And those are probably going to be things that he's going to struggle with for the rest of his life. Yeah, because the paralysis to my right arm, my right leg are probably going to be pretty severe, is what they were told while I was in Germany. And
now you're on a podcast.
I was in a coma over that whole time. So I'm just living the dream in my dreams.
Really? Was it like vivid dreams, or
the most vivid dreams I've ever experienced in my life? To the point that when I woke up from my coma, I was asking people about things that happened in my dreams because I thought they were real.
Are you serious?
And nobody knew what I was talking about, but because to me they were real.
Dude,
I wish I could tell you that I saw angels and God in my near-death experience. I didn't. Hopefully that I've lived a better life since then. Now I will.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so we have like 8 minutes before these batteries start getting low.
Yeah, man. Tell me. Sorry.
No,
it's a long.
You don't need to apologize. That was perfect. I mean, Yeah. What I am curious about now is you've come a long way. Life is not easy. I mean, we've been vulnerable to each other about that, right? Like it's not a walk in the park by any means.
Watt will do that to you.
What?
Watt will do that to you.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, talk to me about how you have 3 kids now, 4?
4 kids.
4 kids now.
4 kids now. From 15 to 1.
Okay. 1 in California, 3 here.
Yes.
Okay.
15 years old and 15, 8, 6, and 1.
So talk to me about your relationship with them. Cause I mean, that's mental.
My biggest fear going through my recovery to get better was how worried I was that my kids would be embarrassed of me.
Mm. In what capacity? That you couldn't walk?
That I couldn't walk. That
really?
I have a big scar on my head. I can only use one hand. I wasn't sure what I was going to be able to do. You know, I'm doing a lot better now than I can. I'm proud of myself now. But back then I was so worried about what are my kids going to think? Are they going to be embarrassed of me? Because I was still using a wheelchair at that time. I couldn't walk very well yet. How am I even going to be able to be a dad?
Yeah.
What example am I going to set? So I was terrified. I was so worried about if I was ever going to be able to be dad at all. At least not the dad I wanted to be. So I was horrified. And then in 6th grade, my son is supposed to pick a celebrity or a hero to do a report on. And he did the report on me. So like a lot of kids do like the wax museum. Have you seen kids do that? Yeah. He picked me to be the wax museum. So I got him a camo uniform to wear in it, shaved a scar on the side of his head, and he was me. I was his hero. I was his celebrity for the wax museum, which was one of the coolest moments of my life. That was like, I'm still dad. Regardless of what I'm doing now, I could still be a good dad.
That's amazing.
And now I coach sports. My daughters are getting old enough now that I can help with them. And if you ask me what happened to me in front of my daughters, they'll answer you quicker than I can because they are now proud of me too. Yeah,
which is such a cool thing. I mean, we were talking about that before the podcast, right? And I want you to tell that version again. Because you were talking about some people will come up to you and ask what happened with your scar, with your leg.
Typically they see my leg first, and it's always what happened.
Yeah.
And kids are the best because there's no filter, including my own kids. So if somebody asks me, my kids, oh, he was fighting bad guys. He was fighting bad guys for you. He was in war.
That's so amazing.
And he killed them too. So. But
the simplicity.
They're proud of it. So which makes me feel like I'm doing an okay job now then.
Yeah. No, and I see that version of you, and I'm lucky to know you, Jordan, to have you in my circle. Talk to me about like the mental game behind it and how you, because I mean, let's talk about this in sense of a journey, right? Sure. Because it's like, I can only imagine that's never going to go away. The mental torment behind it.
No. And that has been a journey in itself to understand that. Like I look back with fond memories of, like I mentioned earlier, Buds was fun. Mm-hmm. Like as hard as it was fun. Getting to run track was something I enjoyed. Knowing that I'm never going to do those things again is hard. But at some point in all of our lives, we're going to get to a point where there are things we used to do that we can't do anymore. Mm. I just got to experience that a little earlier than most people did. But I'm proud. I get to look back and still be proud of what I did. It's a bummer I can't do it now, but I did it. So rather than being upset about what I can't do, I look back with pride and a sense of accomplishment of things that I was able to do.
Yeah.
Like I still did them. I can't do it anymore, but 100%. I did it. Like it's still cool.
A new perspective.
Right. It is a new perspective on things. And now I'm doing other things that I get to look forward to. We jumped off a cliff. That was fun. I've never done that before. I've jumped out of a plane lots of times. But jumping off that cliff was scarier than any plane I've ever jumped out of.
Really? That was wild. That was scary for me.
And I set new aspirations and new goals for myself. Like though I may look limited in some aspects, and I agree that there are things that I'm limited at, that doesn't stop me from trying to set new goals and new accomplishments that I have for myself. I have had a goal for a long time that I was going to ride. I taught myself how to ride a 2-wheel upright bike when they told me I couldn't do that either. So I bought a bike and designed it myself, and now I ride a bike.
Let's go.
So at some point, it's been in the works for a while. I'm going to ride from San Diego, where my career ended, or where my career started in San Diego, Coronado. And I'm going to ride all the way across the country on my bicycle to Bethesda, Maryland, Walter Reed Naval Hospital.
Good for you.
And I want to bring a bottle of sand to the doctors that told me I would never walk in and say, I brought this for you. And my message to that is I understand that doctors don't want to give false hope.
Yeah.
But at the same time, hope is so powerful. If they would have said things are going to be hard, but with a lot of hard work, you could still do a lot of things, that would have changed everything. There was a guy in the room next door to me. His name was Tyler Skelly. And he was told something similar that I was, and he killed himself.
Goodness.
So my message with bringing them a sand is, I was told all these things, and look what I've still accomplished, is what that resembles. My original idea was out of spite to show them, like, F you, look what I can still do. But now it's turned into more of like a message of like, look at what's still possible. Like for my military community, we've gotten a lot of bad news, and the guys struggle coming home. Like, life was hard and life is hard, but look at what we could still accomplish. That's my new mission in life, is to share that message of like, as bad as it's been for me, I'm still so optimistic and excited for my future and the things I'm going to get to do and experience still, that I'm still pushing through it and still going.
That's so amazing. Like I'd love to support in that journey however I can, because I'm rooting for you.
The idea would be to have it online so that people could track me along the way. Yeah. And in that case, then I would love to get people to join parts of it with me.
For sure.
Because riding with people is a lot funner than riding by myself.
Yeah. I'm sure you could rally people up. I mean, that's such an awesome purpose. My last question for you, Jordan, is when the days are hard, like what do you...
And there are many.
Yeah, I'm sure, right? Like when days are hard and you have to remind yourself of that you're a dad, that you're a husband, like what do you do? Is there anything specific that you help get yourself through those hard days mentally?
I think that a big part of being successful in anything, especially for myself, is a support network I built around me, including my family. Mm-hmm. So on some of those really hard days, it's not anything that I do, it's what my kids do for me. Mm. Like when my little girl comes into bed because she had a bad dream, but she feels safe with me. Like that's enough for me. Like I have this little girl that's looking up to me. This is my motivation to be good, better, because she believes in me. Why don't I? So I lean heavily often on my support network. I think I'm tough as hell. If I brag a little bit, I think I'm tougher than most people.
For sure.
But I'm only that way because of the people I have around me.
That's beautiful. Goodness, dude. I've loved this conversation. I feel like I could talk to you for 3 hours straight.
A long form.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Jordan.
Thanks, dude.
Seriously.
Finally making it happen, dude.
Finally made it happen, and it has cracked up to be well better than I even thought it would be.
You talk about the balance, and balancing is hard, and trying to get everything figured out sometimes is hard, but I'm glad I was able to make it. Thanks for having me on, man. It has been a fun conversation.
Good, brother. Well, we'll stay in touch. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, dude.